the office, and you can stop following me around because I am not going to change my mind.
Why can't I go? Lots of girls have gone to house parties and lived through them. I'll take Mrs. Odette's with me for chaperone.
Mrs. Odette's? She's got wilder ideas than you have. I am not going to let you get on a train without me.
It's only an hour's ride to Princeton, Dad.
I know, but there's something about a train that attracts wolves. As soon as a man gets on a train, the first thing he thinks about is meeting a pretty girl. Why, the heels? I know, because I speak from experience.
I'll wear a black veil. Then the wolves won't be able to see my face.
A veil? Honey, with wolves, that's like putting a plain wrapper on something a kid knows has candy inside. You are not going to the Princeton house party. I'll see you at dinner.
Oh, morning, Margie.
Good morning, Mrs. Odette.
What's the matter, dear?
Candy and a plain wrapper can't go to Princeton.
Candy in a plain wrapper can't go to Princeton. Why would Candy want to go to college?
All right, let me read you a little tidbit from this letter. Please tell Mr. Albright not to forget the promise he made to my father that he will introduce me to his daughter, Margie. Now, this is from Chase Morgan, Jr. What's the idea of making a promise like that?
His father was impressed by Margie. I never thought the boy would come.
He's coming here tonight, and we got to get a signature on a renewal of the Morgan contract.
Well, stop worrying. I just won't introduce him to Margie.
You won't introduce him. Read this. He itemizes every little thing his father told him about Margie. How are you going to get out of introducing him? And when Margie meets a client, we get off easy if we just lose him instead of getting sued.
Oh, you're right. I wish she were out of town. Out of town? Mr. Honeywell, Margie wants to go out of town.
She does? Let her go. But Chase Jr. sounds so anxious to meet her, he may decide to stay around until she gets back.
Well, then we need someone to pretend to be Margie until the deal is signed.
Am I interrupting anything?
Hi, darling. Come on in.
Somebody to pretend.
And she walked right in. All we need is a girl, and she is a girl, all right. You are a girl, aren't you?
Well, I think so. I used to wear pink booties.
Roberta, you're going to do me a wonderful favor.
Oh, no, you're paying for the lunch. That was the agreement.
Lunch? Oh, that's good. My dear Miss Townsend, tonight you're going to be... All right, how about her age?
Oh, that's right.
Well...
Oh, it's not that you're old. It's just that you're not young enough.
Oh, well, if you'll excuse me, I have my wheelchair double parked.
Oh, Roberta, just a minute. Give me a chance. Let me explain. Let me rephrase myself, and then you won't be angry. It's not that you look too old. It's just that you don't look young enough.
Oh, that's different. What you mean is, how can I be so young and look so old? Goodbye.
Please, Roberta, you're just the right age for me, and you will help me, won't you? It's very simple. All you have to do is pretend to be Margie.
Margie? Vern Albright, I don't dig the plot, but if you're playing a trick against Margie, count me out.
Oh, you've got to help me. You've got to.
Not against Margie.
Oh, please, Roberta, please. Think of that home in the country, the one that we've always dreamed about having someday.
Vines running up the side. Little children running up the vines.
A white picket fence, an old rustic water pump.
Outside plumbing? This must have been your dream with somebody else.
It's only for tonight. Please say you'll do it for me.
Oh, why didn't I keep up my pogo stick lessons and marry that Australian kangaroo farmer?
I knew you'd come through for me.
You gotta get this Morgan deal out of the way tonight. Remember, old Mr. Winston will be here any day, and we got to get him signed, too.
Oh, don't worry about Winston. He'll probably need a week to get things ready. Now about Margie. I'll get home from work early this afternoon.
First you come home early, which is a big enough surprise, and then you hand me 2 train tickets to Princeton.
Well, that's the kind of a father I am, honey. I want my little daughter to have a good time.
But what about the wolves?
Wolves on a modern-day train with all those other people around? Don't be silly. And besides, that's why there are 2 tickets there. You're taking Mrs. Odette's.
Mrs. Odette's? But you said...
One of the most level-headed women I've ever known.
Okay, Dad, I'll tell Mrs. Odette's to pack. And thanks.
I don't know what's up, but I'll be packed in 10 minutes.
Mrs. Odette?
Roberta, you've lost 10 years.
One crack like dig that souped-up Model T and I quit.
Oh, you look swell. Our boy will be here pretty soon. Come on.
Now remember, Vern, I'm against this. Every time you try to pull a trick on Margie, something goes wrong.
Roberta, I put Margie and Mrs. Odette's on the train 15 minutes ago. They've gone. There's nothing to worry about.
All clear. I'll bet that was the shortest trip to Princeton you ever had.
Yes, and what a thrill. I've always wanted to pull one of those cords to stop the train.
You sure pulled it.
I could still see the surprised look on that porter's face as he sailed past us through the air into the next car.
And now to find out why my dear father wanted me to get out of town.
Maybe he just wanted you to have fun.
I could tell. He wanted to get rid of me. If only he'd do things differently.
What do you mean, dear?
Well, if only he'd take me into his confidence, explain things, tell me why he wanted me to leave town. I'd understand.
You'd leave?
No, but I'd understand why I wasn't leaving. We'll work shifts. We'll take turns peeking through your door until whatever it is materializes. Who'll be first?
Let's toss a coin for it. No, I have a better idea. I'll make some dice out of some sugar cubes, and we'll roll for it.
That's the Albright's apartment right there.
Thanks.
Mrs. Odette's. This may be it.
Oh, and what an it.
Hiya, Mr. Albright.
Well, Chase Morgan Jr., I'll bet $1. You look just like your dad.
What a doll.
Hope you won't think I'm rushing things, but just like I said in my letter, the first thing I want to do is meet your daughter, Margie.
Oh, well, my boy, you just come right on in and meet her. Margie, this is Chase Morgan Jr.
Hello, Chase.
You're Mr. Albright's daughter? I mean, well, Dad said you'd be just past 21 now, and...
Oh, she's past 21.
Easy, Dad. Come on in. I've got some crazy records real gone.
Margie, I've asked you not to use that bop language.
Keeping me away from a client is one thing, but keeping me away from a client with a face like that, this is war. Mrs. Odette, let me introduce myself. Helen's the name. Helen Albright.
Helen Albright? Margie, as an older woman, it's my duty to advise you. Don't do this mad thing.
Well, I'm going to do it.
I'm glad you never listened to me. Let me know what happens. I'll get my bag.
Grab a seat while I dig out the platters.
Really, Margie, I'm not much of a music enthusiast.
Okay, we'll both sit.
Margie, I hope I didn't offend you what I said about your age.
Oh, skip it. I'm just a happy-go-lucky, crazy kid. Just how old do you think I am?
Well, it's not that you're older than I thought you'd be. It's just that you're not as young.
You can reupholster the old chicken, but you can't fool the rooster.
A little appetizer, some dinner, and then we'll get to that contract. Daughter, remember your age.
I was only going to serve Mr. Morgan, Daddy, dear.
Thank you.
Here's to a happy relationship between our company and the Morgan family.
You, Dad, I'm home. Oh, I had a wonderful time at Princeton.
But Marge, honey, sweetheart, I mean...
You're always so surprised when I come back unexpectedly. Hello, Margie. Ooh, company.
This is Chase Morgan, Jr. This is my sister, I believe.
Nice to meet you, Chase.
Nice to meet you,
Oh, my name. Well, my father couldn't name both of us Margie. Although I've always liked the name. So he named me Helen.
So glad to meet you, Helen.
The old gray mare is dead. That's a song.
Helen, dear.
Yes, Daddy, darling?
May I speak to you alone out in the hall? About her Princeton trip. She really did come home sooner than I expected. Much sooner.
Be back. Possibly. Daddy, dear, you're hurting my little arm.
You'll excuse me, won't you? I thought I put you on the train.
I thought that was what you thought. So I thought that being as that was what you thought, I'd come back. Because I thought that you thought that I didn't have a thought that something was up. And something was up.
Margaret Albright, as of right now, I'm issuing an order. Oh, what's the use? You'd find a way of getting around it. Okay, honey, you found me out. But all I ask is that you don't do anything to cause any trouble. I've got to get his father's contract signed tonight.
Maybe I'll even help you.
Oh, no, that's what I'm afraid of. Just forget about my business.
I won't cause you any trouble, Dad. If only you'd learn to know me.
No, that's the trouble I have. After you, Helen. Chase, I'm sure your dad told you what a good cook my little Margie is.
He sure did. He said you served the best wild duck he ever ate.
That's what we're having for dinner tonight with wild rice dressing. Yes, sir. Best little cook in the world. Helen's a good little cook, too.
Well, it only seems natural. Margie helping her younger sister to learn to cook.
All right, younger sister, come on into the kitchen with older sister.
Will you excuse me?
Sir.
Roberta.
Would Father mind if Margie spent the rest of the evening with her only true friend, Roberta Townsend, who lives across the hall?
Oh, please, Roberta, stay and see it through. I'm sorry about that, well, that reference to your age.
It isn't that I feel as old as I look, it's just that I'm not as young as I... Now I'm doing it.
Come on, Roberta, let's face the ducks.
Oh, come on, let's make it real nice and get out the best silver.
Okay. Our silver. I'll have to get it from Mrs. Odette. She borrowed it last week. And I'll return this to her. I borrowed it. Oh, and don't worry about anything, Dad. Everything will turn out fine.
Well, go ahead and say it.
Roberta, I put Mrs. Odette's and Margie on the train myself. They're gone. There's nothing to worry about.
Oh, why can't Margie be more like her mother? I never had this kind of trouble with her mother.
You mean Margie's mother didn't outsmart you?
Oh, she always outsmarted me, but I was younger then and more able to take it.
I have to leave late tomorrow night. But maybe we can take in a dance or a show.
Oh, I'd love to. I'll be right back.
Margie Albright,
Mr. Winston.
I thought I'd take advantage of your father's wonderful hospitality again, and after dinner, sign the deal.
Stay for dinner?
But let me guess. Wild duck again? In your new American terminology, I'd say that's real nervous.
Never as nervous as it's going to be tonight.
Well, I'll go in and surprise your father.
Oh, no, Mr. Winston.
No?
No, we don't live there anymore. We moved.
But I saw you just come out of there.
Well, we're just finishing moving. Just one more thing. I'll be right back.
A big client like me helping people to move. Very American, very American.
Dad, will you come out a second?
Yes, dear. Excuse me.
Go right ahead, Mr. Albright.
What's wrong?
He's right outside. We've got to hurry.
Who's outside?
Mr. Punchbowl, and he's holding the Winston.
What? Winston? Mr. Winston?
Oh, I don't mean Mrs. Winston. Dad, he knows me. And he knows Roberta, too. And he knows I'm Margie, and he knows Roberta isn't Margie. And, Dad, he's going to sign with you tonight.
I can't let either of them find out.
There, you see, I do try to help you. I'm with you, Dad. Grab the end of the table. Let's go.
Oh, what are we going to do?
We've moved.
Oh, hello, Albright. Glad to see you again.
Hello, Mr. Winston.
I say, old man, now where have you moved?
Where? Oh, yes, yes. Margie, where have we moved?
Oh, Dad, stop kidding. You know where we've moved.
Oh, yes, I'm always kidding.
Margie, Mr. Albright, a table for me.
Poor old thing, she's so forgetful. Just put it here. Well, I think it looks like home now. I hope we find it as comfortable as you have, Mrs. Odette. I'll get your coat.
My coat. Am I going somewhere?
Poor old girl, she can't remember a thing.
Oh, I think you're so wise, Mrs. Odette, moving in with your brother in that nice old place on 52nd Street. You'll have such wonderful companionship.
May I ask a question?
What is it, Mrs. Odette?
Oh, what's my brother's name?
Oh, now, Mrs. Odette, put on your thinking cap. You'll remember.
I wish I knew why I was giving up my apartment.
Goodbye, Mrs. Odette, and do keep in touch.
Of course.
Poor old girl, she'll be much better off with her brother.
Dad, Mr. Winston's staying for dinner.
Oh, yes, fine, fine. Wild ducks well hung. They're in the oven now. Oh, Margie, we forgot to bring the oven. How are we going to, what I mean is...
Excuse me, Albright, you're not making sense.
Dad's been having a little trouble with his nerves lately. Sit down, Mr. Winston. We'll check on the ducks. Dinner will be ready in just a jiffy.
Oh, fine, fine.
Come on, Dad.
Margie, what are we going to do?
What do you think? We'll get Charlie off the elevator to help serve. Then we'll check our watches, and on a perfect schedule, we'll have 2 dinners at one time.
2 dinners at one time? Margie, we got to serve 3 people over here and 4 over there. That's 7 people. We've only got 5 ducks.
Holy mackerel. I've got it. Now, don't you worry about a thing. Charlie can take care of that. Now, check your watch with mine. Margie, will you sit there, please? Chase?
Where's your father?
Dad? He had something to do. He'll be along in a minute.
You sit right here, Mr. Winston.
Oh, thank you. Shouldn't we wait for Margie?
Oh, she'll be here any second. She said we should go ahead.
Oh. Ah, smells just like last time. Sure she won't mind if we go at it?
Oh, of course not. Go right ahead, Mr. Winston.
Dad was right. Margie, this is the most delicious wild duck I've ever eaten.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, I just remembered I have a phone call to make. Will you excuse me? I'll be right back.
I'll keep it warm for you.
Excuse me, I'll go and see what's keeping Margie.
How's it going?
Fast and furious.
Oh, come on, Margie, you're missing something.
I'll keep Mr. Albright's plate warm for him.
Everything all right, Chase?
Wonderful.
Good, good. Charlie? Oh, Charlie!
Sorry I'm late. Uh-oh, it's time to get Miss Helen's plate.
Excuse me, Mr. Winston, I have a phone call to make. I'll be right back.
I'll keep it warm till she gets back. Here's your plate. I'll keep it warm for you.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
Pardon me.
Be right back. I'm running late. I better get Miss Helen's plate.
Helen? Who's Helen?
Helen? Oh, yes, Helen. That's Margie's middle name. Charlie gets confused sometimes.
Oh.
I thought you were on your way to Princeton.
I'm taking a detour.
Oh, don't interfere. We've got 2 clients just itching to sign on an awful tight schedule.
Clients, detour. What are these 2 nitwits up to?
Mr. Albright, do me a favor and find me.
Charlie's always kidding.
I've got to join some kind of union.
All right, what's going on here? What's this client business here? Yeah, oh, how are you, my boy? Now listen, Albright, what I want to know is, excuse me, good evening, Miss Townsend.
Oh, Mr. Honeywell.
I mean, good evening, Margie. Really, son, that is Margie. Cross my heart. You better talk fast. I think I just put my foot in it.
Miss Townsend, this has been a very strange evening.
Oh, Mr. Morgan, I can explain everything. Oh, what's the use? You may just as well know the truth. This is Roberta Townsend.
Dad, you're late. Mr. Honeywell.
Oh, it's all over, baby.
Well, all right, you've ruined everything. Trying to fool Mr. Morgan, pawning Miss Townsend off as Margie just because you didn't want them to meet.
Oh, but you approved.
All right, you're fired.
I don't know what you're all steamed up about, Mr. Honeywell. Nobody fooled me, and I intend to sign just because I've had such an entertaining evening.
What, you aren't angry?
No. You see, apparently Mr. Albright forgot. He gave a snapshot of Margie to my father. I knew Miss Townsend wasn't Margie all along. I just thought I'd have some fun.
All right, you're rehired.
Oh, thanks, Chase. But you know, I don't remember giving your father a picture of Margie. Mr. Winston, tight schedule.
Winston, double tight schedule.
Now, Helen.
Very strange. Why do you imagine my dad wouldn't remember giving your dad my picture?
Maybe because he never did. I couldn't let your father get fired.
Margie, dear, you're all mixed up. I called my sister in Seattle to get my brother's address on 52nd Street. And she says, I don't have a brother.
Margie, I hope you realize you almost ruined not one, but 2 big deals.
One question, Dad. Who started it?
Well, maybe I did, but...
And think of the mess you'd have been in if I hadn't been around a detour, Mr. Winston.
Margie, you're the most exasperating daughter a man ever had, but I'll have to admit, in a pinch, you always come through for your old pappy. Yes, sir, that's my little Margie.